These toxic relationships are drowning in red flags, and we're here to decide if they should make up or if they should break up. Am I the a-hole for telling my boyfriend of 6 months that I feel like his mom instead of his girlfriend? I, 24 female, have been dating my boyfriend, 26 male, for 6 months. When we first met, I honestly thought I found someone really special. He was attentive, affectionate, and made me feel wanted. I knew he had some struggles going on in his life, and I wanted to be supportive because that's what you do when you care about someone. But now I'm starting to wonder if I confused being supportive with becoming responsible for him. Over the last few months, I've noticed that I'm carrying almost all of the mental load in our relationship. I'm the one reminding him about appointments, helping him remember important things, reminding him about deadlines, helping him plan things, and walking through problems that he should be handling himself. If something goes wrong because he forgot, somehow it turns into me not helping enough because I didn't remind him. I didn't realize how exhausting it was until I noticed that I was constantly thinking about his responsibilities, also while trying to manage my own. The part that hurts the most is I don't feel like he does the same for me. When I'm overwhelmed, I don't feel like he notices unless I specifically tell him. If I'm having a bad day, I usually end up comforting myself and then still making sure he's okay. I've had moments where I've broken down and I just wanted to feel taken care of, but instead I felt like I had to explain exactly how to support me. I don't expect him to read my mind or solve my problems, but I want to feel like I have a partner who naturally wants to show up for me. The breaking point happened last week when he missed an important appointment because he forgot about it. He called me extremely upset and immediately said, "You knew about this, why didn't you remind me?" Now see, I'm already annoyed. I am so violently annoyed already. I told him I understood that he was frustrated, but I wasn't going to take responsibility for something that was his responsibility. Exactly. I said, "I love you, but I'm your girlfriend, not your mom. I can support you, but I can't manage your entire life for you." That sentence apparently set him off. He completely exploded. He told me I was selfish, that I was making him feel like a burden, and that he couldn't believe I would throw everything he's struggling with back in his face. He said, "Wow, so the second I'm not perfect, you decide that I'm too much work?" I tried explaining that wasn't what I was saying, but he wouldn't let me finish. He told me, "I thought you were the one person who is actually going to stand by me. I guess I was wrong." Then he said maybe he had misjudged my character because he thought I was more caring than this. Now this is feeling manipulative. Just saying. You forgot your appointment and now somehow it's this. Give me a break. Oh, I'm annoyed. Shake it off. It's not my problem.
Not my job, not my problem.
That honestly crushed me because I feel like I have been caring. I've shown up for him over and over again. I've listened to him vent. I've rearranged my own plans to help him. I've supported him when he's stressed. And I've tried to make his life easier because I love him. But I'm starting to feel like the more I give, the more he expects, and the less he feels the need to give back. I told him I don't want a relationship where I have to constantly remind another adult to take care of himself. I want someone who chooses to be my teammate, not someone who gets upset when I stop carrying things for them. Now he says I made him feel unloved and like I don't accept him for who he is. Some of his friends think that I was completely out of line because, quote, "that's what you do for the person you love." My friends think it's a huge red flag that after only 6 months, I already feel drained and that he got angry when I tried to set a boundary. I'm honestly conflicted because I do love him. I don't want him to feel abandoned or like he can't rely on me, but I also don't think loving someone means slowly losing yourself trying to keep their life together. So, am I the a-hole for telling my boyfriend I'm not going to be responsible for fixing his life? All right, do you think they should break up or make up? We do have the update, so don't worry, we're gonna find out, but I feel like we could work this out, but only if he will see your side and will take responsibility and will step up more for himself. That's not to say you can't still help him and remind him of things, if you remember, but nah.
Nah, it's not funny.
You missed your appointment and you're blaming me? What a joke. What an absolute joke. Let's see what happened. We have the final update. I honestly didn't think I would be writing this update. When I made my original post, I was sitting there questioning myself. I was wondering if I was being selfish, if I was expecting too much, if I was a bad girlfriend for feeling exhausted by constantly being the person who kept everything together. A part of me wanted Reddit to tell me that I was wrong because admitting the truth meant I had to accept something that I didn't want to accept. I wasn't just frustrated, I was unhappy. After reading through the comments, I decided to show my boyfriend the post. Ooh. I want to be clear that I didn't do this to embarrass him or have thousands of people attack him. I showed him because I was desperate for him to understand that wasn't coming from a place of anger. I loved him. I wanted us to work. I wanted him to understand that I wasn't saying, "You're a terrible person." I was saying, "I'm drowning and I need you to notice." Instead, the second he saw the comments, everything changed. He immediately became angry. He said I was humiliating him and that I was painting him as the bad guy and that I had betrayed him by letting strangers know about our relationship. He kept saying things like, "So this is what you really think of me? And you've just been secretly resenting me this whole time?" I tried explaining that I wasn't hiding some horrible opinion of him. I was trying to explain a feeling that I'd been too scared to say out loud because I knew he would react this way. He didn't ask me why I felt this way. He didn't ask what he could do differently. He didn't say, "I'm sorry you've been feeling alone." He focused on how hurt he was that I said it. And that was the moment something in me broke. Because I realized that even when I was the one hurting, I was still expected to take care of his emotions. I was crying. I was telling him how overwhelmed I felt. I was telling him I felt like I was losing myself. And somehow I ended up apologizing. I ended up comforting him. I ended up reassuring him that he wasn't a bad person again. After the argument, I sat there thinking, when did my feelings become something that I had to apologize for? That was when I knew I couldn't keep doing this. I broke up with him. And I need people to understand that this was not an easy decision. I didn't leave because he forgot an appointment. I didn't leave because he needed help. I didn't leave because he was struggling. I left because I realized I'd slowly become a caretaker in a relationship where I was supposed to be a partner. The part that was the hardest to admit is what I learned afterwards about how his life was managed before me. That's what I really want to know.
I got to know.
I had always assumed that he was just going through a difficult time. I thought he was overwhelmed because life had gotten hard and that he needed people in his corner. But after talking more with people close to him, I realized that this was not a new situation. His mom had been doing a lot of these things for him for years. She was the person who reminded him about appointments, helped him stay organized, reminded him about responsibilities, and stepped in when things went wrong. She handled things that most adults eventually learn to manage themselves. And honestly, I think that's why this dynamic felt so natural to him. I think he was intentionally trying to make me his mom. I think he was used to someone just filling that role. When I came into his life, I unknowingly stepped into the space that she had occupied for years. I became the person who reminded him, planned for him, worried about things for him, and helped prevent consequences. The scary part is that I didn't even realize it was happening until I was already exhausted. I remember thinking, if I stop reminding him, will everything fall apart? And that is not a normal feeling to have 6 months into a relationship. A lot of people asked in the comments why I stayed if I felt this way so early on. The answer is because I genuinely loved him. He wasn't some horrible person at the time. He was sweet. He was affectionate. He made me feel loved in so many ways. That's what made leaving so painful. I wasn't leaving because there was no love. I was leaving because love wasn't enough. I needed a partner, not someone I had to parent. For the first time in months, I don't feel like I'm constantly waiting for the next thing to go wrong. I don't feel like I have to keep track of someone else's responsibilities while trying to manage my own. And I don't feel like I'm carrying the weight of two people anymore. And that is when you know you have made the right decision. Let me know your thoughts. I thought they should break up unless, like I said, there was maybe some accountability. But I feel like we made the right decision here. It had to be a breakup if you guys weren't going to see eye to eye on it. Next story. Today I effed up by accusing my boyfriend of cheating on me with his deceased husband. This feels complex and more serious. My boyfriend, 32 male, and I, 31 female, have been dating for 8 months now, and he is honestly one of the best boyfriends I've had. He is super kind and considerate and has helped me through some dark moments that I went through when we met. We currently don't live together, but things have been going really well. We hardly fight, and if one of us has a problem, it's easy for me to feel like I can approach him. About a month ago, though, I got a text from a friend of mine with a picture of my boyfriend eating ice cream with a woman I didn't recognize. He was supposed to be at work, and my friend, she works in the same area as the ice cream store, saw him there instead. I'm a little bit of a paranoid person because a previous partner has cheated on me before, so of course the alarm bells start ringing immediately. I talked myself through it and I decided it was most likely just a friend and just forget about it. Fast forward to Friday. I got an early day from work, remote, and I wanted to surprise my boyfriend at work and take him out on his lunch break. When I got to his office though, the receptionist said that he was out of office for a few days and wouldn't be back until Monday. I tried not to freak out, but I did a bit, and I drove over to his place. He was there and he let me in, and it was just him. He told me he wasn't feeling too well and called out for a couple of days, and he said he was sorry that he didn't tell me. I stayed over and we got takeout, and eventually we both fell asleep on the couch. I woke up around 3 a.m. needing to use the washroom, and I saw his phone. And unfortunately, curiosity got the better of me. I knew his password by catching it a few times when he entered it, not on purpose. Not on purpose. Sure. His text messages seemed normal besides 2 conversations. One to a group chat with a bunch of people I didn't know, and one to a man named Jay, fake name. The group chat stood out because the people in it talked to my boyfriend as if they were family, inviting him to vacations, outings, all that, but I knew they weren't his family because I have met them before. One person in the chat named Kristen also talked about how much their ice cream date meant to her, so I assumed she was probably the woman from last month. The texts to Jay were sparse and one-sided, with my boyfriend sending random I love yous and I miss you messages every now and then. Oh my gosh. Because we know the title of this, my heart is breaking. I probably should have realized then what was happening, but being the dumbass I am, took it as him having a partner and me being the side piece. I woke him up immediately and I showed him the phone, asking who the F Jay was and these other people. He looked so furious, and I knew then and there that I effed up real bad. He's usually very stoic and collected, but the moment he saw the unlocked phone, he got up and snatched it. He opened the Photos app and pulled up a picture of him and a man together. This is Jay, my husband. He took his life 5 years ago. What do you possibly say to that? Oh, my heart breaks. The one-sided messages. Oh, my heart. Oh, that's so heavy. He then explained to me that every year on Jay's birthday, their wedding anniversary, and Jay's passing anniversary, he and sometimes Jay's family members would do things that Jay liked to do. On his birthday, which was last month, my boyfriend and Jay's older sister, Kristen, got ice cream at his favorite ice cream place. He had taken a few days off this week because this week was when he took his life, and they all planned on visiting his grave. I had known that my boyfriend was bi, but I had zero idea about Jay or his family. After he was done explaining everything, he calmly asked me to leave and to not contact him until he contacted me first. I love this man so much and I don't want to lose him, but I just accused him of cheating on me with his late husband. I have no idea where to go from here. Edit. I wanted to make an edit to cover some things. Number 1, did I ask him about past relationships? No. Both of us met at a work event. We both work in graphic design, and we took things slow. Neither of us were really even looking for a relationship. It was clear to me from the beginning that he was a private person and wasn't big on discussing vulnerable past stuff, and he never brought up the past either. I didn't think that he would have a whole deceased husband, so I never really tried to dig into past relationships he had. Number 2, I know looking through his phone was 100% wrong. There's no denying that. Number 3, I am currently seeking out a therapist. And number 4, no, he has not reached out yet. Okay, before we get to the update, I'm hoping we can make up for this one. Yeah, you really did. You really messed up big time. Going through his phone if he hasn't given you any reason or anything. I understand the ice cream date, the time off work, maybe some suspicions were there, like of what's going on, but have a conversation before, you know? Conversation could have just wrapped all this up real quick. Who was that girl? Her name's Kristen. Who is she? She's related to... The whole conversation probably would just happen that way. Oh man. Yeah, I think we can work this one out. I really do. I'm gonna say makeup on this one. Here's the update. We haven't broken up. He called me about 2 days after I made my initial post, ready to talk. I brought up some of the points a few people had about it being a little unfair that he had kept the knowledge of his late husband from me after so long, and he agreed. He admitted that he was just scared by telling me that he was forgetting Jay. He acknowledged that it was an unhealthy way of thinking about it, and he didn't mean to make it seem like he didn't care. Of course, I apologized a million times for snooping through his phone and not coming to him earlier about seeing him with Jay's sister when it happened. We both agreed that we had started this relationship too fast, especially for people who both weren't looking for something serious initially. We talked for hours over the phone before meeting at his place. We talked some more. We talked about what we want from this relationship, and we decided, for now at least, to try and make things work. We are both deeply broken people, and we thought that with honesty going forward, we could support and help each other heal 100%. Because if you knew about his deceased husband, it might have just been able to piece together a little bit of your suspicions, maybe. I'm happy to see the makeup, that we can try to work it out. And if it doesn't work out for other reasons, that's fine. But I do think it was worth giving it a shot. We got more stories, but you know what time it is. All aboard Hydration Station. Drink your water today. You need it. Cheers. But let me know what's in your cup. Either way. Guys, we have a Joss cam and a Lila cam duo option now. This is crazy to me. So I just had to, upgrade my phone. I was due for an upgrade. I got the new one, and it has this vlogging feature where it'll duo capture. It'll film what's in front of you and you at the same time. So you guys get me and Lila together. She could care less. Actually, you couldn't care less. You are at the bottom of caring. Next story. Am I the a-hole for following my wife around for an evening? Oh, a little stalking sesh. I've done that with friends in the past. I have this one friend. She's still a dear friend to this day. She always suspected her ex was cheating. And anytime she wanted to go look for his car, drive by his house, whatever, she's like, hey, you want? I'm like, I'm there. Sure. Heck yeah. Totally there. You driving or me? I'll drive. You want to use my car as a disguise? Let's do it. Being young was fun. If any of you called me at any time to do that, I would totally join. So offer is on the table, you guys. The title sounds extreme, but here are the details. My wife and I have been together for 5 years. Oh, I forgot you guys are married. Yes. This isn't a relationship in your 20s, right? Okay, well, it might be. I love her so much that it pains me to write this. The thing is, I was the sole earner for a while and I was happy to provide. I am a software developer at a local startup that has tripled in employees and gone exponential in revenue. We are not having kids, so my wife got bored of being home and doing nothing. She got a job at a law firm as a paralegal. Enter his attorney, who I will call Brandon. My wife started to bring him up quite a bit. You know when your wife starts talking about something, drops it, and then brings it up again a few minutes or hours later, like there was no gap? My wife does this with stories about him. I searched through her Facebook friends list one day for Brandon, and I saw that they connected. Okay. Then my wife starts going to work at happy hours, and I'm seeing pictures of the guy on her timeline. In most of the pictures, she is positioned next to him, holding a drink. Okay. He's saying okay, by the way. I'm not. I have gained considerable weight since joining the startup. There is free food provided to us nearly every day. My wife has maintained a really low weight and looks as beautiful as she did at 22. Brandon is more like how I used to be weight-wise. However, I believe I make more money than he does, so here it goes. I take off work on Friday. As my team is nearing the end of our project, I wait for my wife to leave the firm and I see her walking out with Brandon. They get in my wife's car, purchased on my dime, and I follow them for a bit. They go to a local dive bar and it turns out all of her coworkers are there. I see them entering. I wait for hours and everyone eventually leaves. My wife leaves last with Brandon and she takes him home. I don't see any physical contact as he exits the vehicle to go inside of his apartment building. At this point, I'm sick. I'm gutted. I wait at home for my wife and I confront her about Brandon. She went insane, basically, threatening to end the marriage because I stalked her. She told me that she is always the DD for happy hour because she doesn't drink much, which is true, but she didn't address my greater concerns. Am I the a-hole? Okay, where are we sitting on the makeup or breakup fence? I mean, if it truly was an innocent thing, I would be furious if my partner didn't trust me and was following me around. Yeah, I have so many questions still though. Like, did she tell you she was going out? Would she hide the fact that she was driving Brandon home? I have a lot of questions. So I feel like, is this enough to end a marriage? I don't know. I want to say makeup because there's not enough answered questions yet. Let's find out. We have the final update. Believe it or not, I listened to your advice. I received extensive advice on both sides. Publicly, everyone agreed that I was at fault. Yeah. In my direct messages, many believed me to be in the right. Regardless, I sat down and talked to my wife about my insecurities concerning her coworker. Guys, here I am saying that I used to do that with my friends, but that it's wrong. Yeah, I think you should trust your partner. If you're not trusting your partner and you're driving around stalking them, there's clearly issues there. Like, for sure. No denying that. I told her I did not feel as attractive as Brandon and worried that as I was getting older, her interest in me was fading. I also asked if she felt financially stable in the relationship. I apologized for following her around and I told her I will never do it again. She told me several things. First, that she was offended I did not trust her. Second, that she did suspect Brandon had feelings for her based on some of the interactions and comments. Well, that adds a layer. Third, that sometimes she felt isolated by my work and never felt motivated one way or another by my income. The thing about programming is it is hard to explain my work to someone who does not program. She also told me my physical appearance and aging had no impact on her feelings towards me. She reaffirmed that she loved me and would never throw away our marriage for a divorced coworker. So what about our future? I asked her if she still wanted to be with me or if she could not see a future with me after I had followed her. She joked that she would forgive me after drinking a few cocktails at a tropical resort. She told me that in addition to the stalking, the cocktails would also help her forget about all of my past rants about various programming languages. I haven't told her yet, but I plan to surprise her with an all-inclusive package to the Maldives or some other island young women enjoy that I never heard of until researching. Okay, I am a little if you suspected that Brandon had feelings for you, do you think that you should be hanging out with him in that manner? Like driving him home and stuff like that? I don't know. I mean, like I said, I think we could make up over this. I don't know if that's marriage ending. So what do you guys think? Let me know. Okay, we'll chat in the comments. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. I will see you tomorrow.